or a third and a fourth or better.
Take your mark.
This is the longest race of the program, 66 lengths of the pool.
And certainly capable of doing that, Bill, too. You know, when they come in, Johnston has the second fastest time of the year, still holding up as the second fastest time. We'll get to the early heat winner a little bit later on, and Luke Hobson's been 14:40 as well, so they're set up well in this event.
All right, so Bobby Finke is already out in front. We know him for his crazy finishes. I mean, in Tokyo, he closed the 1500 with a faster final 50 than the men who swam the 200 meters in Tokyo over their final 50. But an event like today, do you expect him to keep a small margin early and then turn it on at the end, or do you think we're going to see the lead continue to grow lap by lap if he's swimming at his best?
I think he's going to feel things out without question. You know, he was not part of the SEC championships due to COVID protocol, so he has yet to swim this mile for quite a while. And if you look at his record splits, they progressively get a little bit slower as they go along by 500s. His record split 4:15, 4:19, 4:20 by 500s. Of course, as you said, the last 100 and 150 skews that a lot, but I think he's going to feel things out. There's no way anybody should be able to beat Bobby Finke. I mean, we were talking about before we came on air, and the fact that Bobby's best time is 4:12, right?
Yep.
He's got the 3 fastest times in history, all at 14:12. You have to go 20 seconds back to get the next closest performer in this event.
And it's David Johnson this year, who's gone 14:32.40. Right now, though, Johnson all the way back in 4th, and his Texas teammate Luke Hobson, who's on the bottom of your screen, in 5th. Longhorns are going to look for more points than that as this race goes along if they want to try and keep pace with a Cal team that's kind of backloaded here today. We'll see them in the next event very strong, the 200-yard back. And then the big event for Cal today that may decide the championship, the final individual race, the 200-yard fly. Cal has 2 up in the championship final, 1 in the consolation final. Texas will not score out of that final event.
And Texas may have the lead when we get to the 200 fly. That's what's the crazy back and forth we were talking about that tonight could possibly be.
A good start for Bobby Finke in the blue swim cap. He's already established more than a length lead. It's Will Gallant from NC State who is swimming well next to him in lane number 3. Gallant, the ACC champion this year, a transfer from Indiana, where last year he was 5th in this race at NCAAs.
Yeah, top 4 finishers from last year are actually in this race. Ross Dant, who finished 3rd, is in here as well. Brooks Fail, who competed in the earlier heat, he was 4th. He was 2nd in the earlier heats. Speaking of that, Michael Brenniger, the junior from Indiana, has the top time thus far, 14:33.7. Don't think that will hold up, but that was a great time for Michael, the junior, and daughter of Olympian.
Yeah, you don't expect that to hold up.
Son of Olympian.
Yeah, you don't expect that to hold up to win, Rowdy, but that should hold up for some very solid points.
Right.
And part of a meet that has been really, really good for the Hoosiers of Indiana. They're in a good battle for 5th place right now, so all the points they can get from this race and moving forward to that good position to give them a top 5 overall.
And Brooks Fail was 2nd in those heats, 14:35. There were 5 swimmers that were under 4 swimmers that were under 14:40. Alfonso Mestre was 14:39. He went his best time by about 13 seconds to get 4th. Grant Schultz was 3rd in the earlier heats with a 14:38.
Bobby Finke is through 17 lengths at the moment, so a little more than 400 yards into this 1650, and he has built a very good lead. You're keeping your eye on where those Texas Longhorns are. They're not necessarily where they'd want to be quite yet, with a lot of race still to go. David Johnston in 4th, and Luke Hobson currently in 6th.
Look at the 500 split coming up. That's important to note. You separate this race almost into 3 separate components. That first 500, 4:15 and change was his record split. A little slower than that, 4:17.1. So he's about 2 seconds off his record.
All right, no Cal Bears in this race, but Cal's still in a very good position to win this national championship. And as we bring in the 3rd member of our crew, Lara Overton. Lara, they have one particularly interested fan back in Berkeley and one brand new fan watching back in Berkeley as well.
They sure do, Bill. Cal assistant coach Chase Kreitler is not here with the team in Atlanta, but it is for very good reason. He and his wife welcomed their son just last month, and when Chase knew his paternity leave would overlap with the championship season, head coach Dave Durden told him there will be plenty more swim championships. There are only so many times that you get this opportunity with your family. So although Chase is up between midnight and 4 a.m. for those newborn feedings, he's back up at 7 a.m. West Coast time to watch the prelims each day. Chase told us that they've been watching the meet in its entirety as a family, and he's been explaining to baby JD in detail what the Bears need to do to win the team title. He's also been updating his spreadsheets after each event to track the team standings. Chase says the whole family is so proud of how the athletes have competed. He is excited to see them finish strong. He added how thankful he is for Coach Durden's support of his taking time to be with his family. Last month, the Kreitlers brought home baby JD, and this month Cal looks to bring home another NCAA team title.
What a great story there, and they're in great position to do just that. I get a feeling JD's first words aren't going to be mama and dada, but are going to be something like splits or 25-3 or things like that.
Fly, back.
Look at the lead right now for Bobby Finke. We told you at the start, he is the best men's distance swimmer in the world, not just in college swimming, but you win an 800 and a 1500 at the most recent Olympic Games. You get to hold the mantle as the best in the world, and looking the part once again. I mean, he is already almost the full length of the pool ahead of everybody in this field outside of Gallant, who's about 10 yards or so behind him already.
Is consistently taking 13 strokes per length, so his tempo is very nice. Good length of stroke, great body position, riding nice and high. You see that head position in line with his spine there. He's always got that little steady kick behind him that gives him that great position in the water. You know, the two NC State swimmers are doing really well right now. Will Gallant and Ross Dan, and again, they've got a good chance of finishing 4th overall. And as I said, an underrated coach in Braden Holloway, who's just done a fabulous job with both the men's and women's team there.
And then you got Florida in position for a 3rd place overall finish for Coach Anthony Nesty, and Bobby Finke adding likely here 20 more points to Florida's tally.
Yeah, Nesty might be the hottest coach in the country, in the world for that matter. I mean, look what he's been able to do. When we watched this event alone at the SEC Championships, I think he put about 25 people in that event, and they all scored, it seemed like. He has built quite the program at the University of Florida, both in the sprinting, obviously. They won the 200 free and 200 medley relays. And then, of course, you see what they're doing with the distance events with Bobby Finke, and now he has Katie Ledecky swimming there.
Well, Bobby Finke is continuing to build this massive lead. You got the 2 best distance swimmers in the world, the best women's distance swimmer in the world, the best men's distance swimmer in the world, now training in the same pool. Imagine you could learn a lot by osmosis just sitting there and watching those 2 train.
Well, he's about 5 seconds now off his record split, so I don't see that going down here tonight. The 1,000 mark is coming up after this 50. This is the 950 mark here. He was 834 and change at the 1,000 mark. And you can tell he's about 5 seconds off of that right now.
Still a massive lead for Bobby Finke, with Gallant in 2nd, his NC State teammate Ross Dant in 3rd. Texas occupying 5th and 6th right now as we come up on that 1,000 split for Finke.
There it is right there, 8:39. That is exactly 5 seconds off. And if you're wondering about 2nd, that's Will Gallant at 8:45. Brenniger was 8:49 at the 1,000 mark, so he's ahead of Brenniger as well.
So if you're a Cal fan, then you're hoping that Brenniger's time maybe holds up for 3rd and bumps those Texas Longhorns down another spot apiece. Right now, Texas not getting the points they would need out of this race, and they need big finishes from Johnston and Hobson here. Meanwhile, Finke has inside of 23 lengths to go, 43 down.
Yeah, if you're a Bear fan, all of a sudden, in this event anyway, and only this event, you're pulling for the Gators, you're pulling for the Hoosiers, you're pulling for the Wolfpack, the Wildcats, anybody that doesn't have a Longhorn on their cap, that's who they're cheering for in this event. And Texas is hanging in there right now. I mean, they're not out of it right now. David Johnson's running 5th. Hobson's running 7th. They're certainly hoping for more than that with Johnson coming in seated 2nd. But they're going to gain some points, and they may go ahead. In fact, they will go ahead.
Yes.
They'll go ahead of Cal after this event.
5th and 7th would net Texas 27 points.
Oh, yeah.
Again, that time from the previous Eden break probably holds up and means right now really virtually they're in 6th and 8th place out there in the pool. We're starting to get to that point where you have to do your math on your own a little bit because Bobby Finke is starting to lap people as Finke makes the turn. A full 2 lengths ahead now of Trey Freeman, his Florida teammate, who's out there in lane number 7.
Good point, Bill. So the eyes tend to kind of peel all over the place here. And there's Bobby Finke. Above him is his teammate. He is lapping him. So Freeman is actually down a 50 there. That's the only swimmer being lapped at this point in the race. But with about 4 minutes left, 3.5 minutes left, I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up lapping some more. And there's Jake McGahee, who was 2nd in the 500 freestyle earlier, and he lost his cap early in the race, so he's swimming without a cap, which is not that big of a deal, but as long as you don't lose your goggles, I think you're fine.
Yeah, if you had to pick one or the other, you'd much rather lose the cap. As we see another effortless turn here from Finke coming up on 53 lengths behind him. 13 to go. I mean, we expected him to win going away, but he has met those expectations here, Rowdy. He's still more than 15 yards out in front of Gallant. Really strong swims from Will Gallant and Ross Dant. And then Charlie Clark of Ohio State has started to move up, pushing Dant for 3rd. So Clark, the Big Ten champion of the 1650 this year, an Ohio State sophomore, having a good swim as well. Yeah,
he sure is. Coach Bill Dorencat from Ohio State fighting for a top 10 finish for the Buckeyes. He's done the job as well for both the men and the women for Ohio State. And you've got 4 conference champions in this event, 3 conference runners-up. So you've got some really good swimmers on the end. Check the splits again. You look at Finke's splits, and as they go along, this will take the last 4 or 5. 6'3", 6'4", 6'5", 6'6", and that one went back down to 26'2".
Right, another crazy thing about the 4 conference champs and 3 conference runners-up. The one who isn't, again, is Bobby Finke, because he was out due to health and safety protocols during the SEC championship. So you think about the 8 in this pool. You've got a 2-time Olympic champ and then 4 conference champs along with 3 conference runners-up.
Yeah, that's an impressive field, isn't it? And really impressive.
And now we're at that point in the race where it seems like Bobby Finke just really picks it up. Look at the pace of his turnover here as you watch Caleb Dressel, a guy who knows how to close a race out, watching his Florida teammate, and that's where Florida's got it covered on both sides. You got Dressel who can dominate the sprints, you got Finke who dominates these long distance races.
Yeah, Caleb has now swimming with Anthony Nesty as well. Yeah. So again, the rich get richer there for the Gators. And Caleb's been here all week long. He has been on the sideline cheering every single session. And he is a Gator through and through.
And a whole lot to cheer about here as Bobby Finke is coming up on his 2nd Athlete Hill lap as he's about to overtake Luke Hobson, who's in 7th place. He's already overtaken Trey Freeman, who's in 8th. That race getting really good for the other spots, though. Now it's still Gallant in 2nd, Dant in 3rd, and now Texas's David Johnston moving up on Charlie Clark for 4th. Those could be important points for the Longhorns.
Real important. He's right there. You saw him right above Bobby Finke. They're kind of out of the picture now, but there is a great battle there between those 2 swimmers, Johnston and Clark.
Final 2 lengths for Finke on his way to his 2nd NCAA championship in as many years in this event.
Well, he's got the 3 fastest in history. 14:18 by Zane Grothe is the 4th fastest swim in history. I don't think he's going to get there.
May go sub 14:20 still, and he's going to win by more than 25 yards. The best distance swimmer in the world, Bobby Finke, wins another national championship in 14:22.28. Here comes Gallant home, and he touches just ahead of Dant, and then Texas's David Johnston does take fourth. How about that Wolfpack duo with Dant going hard there, almost catching Gallant at the end.
Great job for the conference champion and runner-up. Gallant and Dant doing the job for North Carolina State. That'll put a smile on Braden Holloway's face. And Johnston coming back for Texas. The Big 12 champ will get fourth. So what we talk about, 3rd and 7th, 4th and 6th, something like that?
He had 14:33.61. Remember, Breiniger went 14:33.76, so he does get inside of Breiniger too for Texas. And I know we're only talking about a point here, a point there, but that could add up. 4th overall for the Longhorns. They get 15 from Johnston, and then they get another 11 for an 8th place finish, so 26 for Texas out of this. The full 20 for Florida's Bobby Finke for the win.
He only came back in 24.5 the last 50. Slacking.
So again, the Heat 5 results show Texas in 5th and 8th. We missed McGahee actually coming out without the swim cap and out touching Johnston for 5th. So Johnston will stay in 5th in the composite results, but Texas ends up 5th and 9th with Breiniger jumping ahead and Brooks Fail jumping in front of Texas's Luke Hobson as well out of heat number 4. So that's 9 points and 14 points, 23 total points for Texas out of that race. Not as much as they were hoping for. Again, Bobby Finke is the national champion, and he's with Lara.
Bobby, you came in as the heavy favorite, the record holder, the defending champion. How are you able to channel that, embrace that over those 14-plus minutes?
I'm not even sure, man. That was pretty hard. Shout out to my competitors. You know, I've known them for a long time, and I'm just glad I get the race one more time before I'm done with my collegiate career.
When I talked with Coach Nesty earlier this week, he mentioned how strong the senior leadership is, the foundation that your group has built at the University of Florida. In this final NCAA championship, what legacy do you want to leave on your program?
You know, I just want to say thank you to the boys over there. You know, we got a great class coming in, and they're just an incredible group of guys, and I'm just glad I got to share these moments with them.
And you get to share another NCAA title. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Bobby Finke, the best in the world at what he does, puts it on display once again at NCAAs. The 2-time Olympic champ is now a 2-time NCAA champ as well.